Welcome to News with a View, a Fat Cat production. Today is February 25th, 2025. This is episode 39. Your host, me, John A. Costa, and this is our second attempt to do this show today. We had it all done, and we lost power here. And I don't have a battery backup protection on this studio. So, bad me. Today's episode is going to be on the FBI leaks from February 7th. More woes and tears from the MSNBC people. The Associated Press, number 3, is rejected by the courts on the White House ban until March 20th. And Democrats lose it over Dan Bongino's appointment to the FBI. So let's get right into it. Department of Homeland Security, Christine Neom, has identified some of the people that had made the leak to the LA Times on the February 7th ICE raid, unknown gang members, illegals, that was published. So they know who some of these people are, and they're taking actions now to I'm going to say arrest them, because they will be arrested and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. On February 10th, the secretary had said that the FBI might be behind the leak, as did Tom Homan, the immigration czar. There's been no statement made from the secretary as to what department now they have looked at and found these people. So there's going to be some consequences, of course. And they said when they leak information to the press in order to blow an operation, they are putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy. They are risking their lives and putting their families in the position where they have to live without those individuals any further. So it's a interesting wording, but and she said when they are breaking the law, we are prosecuting and holding them accountable to it. We're not here to play games. This is about America. So they're going to go after these people as they said they would. They have identified them, and there are more. And this is going to be a bad day for some people. They should also go after the press. This wasn't whistleblowing. So this was absolutely not whistleblowing here. This was actual interference with an ongoing case, and they should be brought to task for that. All right, the second thing on my list is the I almost messed up. Was the MSNBC Woes continue at that station, at that network. Rachel Maddow has gotten into the argument now. Rachel Maddow lashed out at her own network for its decision to fire 2 of its non-white primetime hosts, including the anchor Joy Reid. So, she's mad, I guess, that they didn't fire any white people also in there, in this. And emotional Joy Reid says she's not sorry that she went hard on so many issues as the Donald Trump bashing anchor broke her silence after getting fired from NBC. Rachel Maddow went on to say, I will tell you it's also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetimes are losing their shows. Well, they're not losing their shows because of their color, Rachel. They're losing their show because the ratings aren't there and MSNBC wants to make money. Just like they're paying you $25 million for one show per week, Rachel. Maybe you should leave with them in solidarity. I'd love that. Joy Reid went on to also say, I've been through a very emotional time. Anger, rage, disappointment, guilt that I let my team lose their jobs. Reid rambled during her 10-minute Zoom call to the podcast, Win with Black Women. Now, can you imagine if I had a podcast that said Win with White Males? What do you think would happen? What do you think the outcry would be? Yeah, exactly. And the left-wing firebrand has been criticized for her remarks about white people. Remember her little taunt to us during Thanksgiving? Including referring to white tears, as well as a statement that white women did not show up to vote for former Vice President Kamala Harris in the recent election. Yeah, they showed up to vote, but not for Harris. Yeah. There was no one disenfranchised. No one did anything that would be considered a problem during the election. They voted for Trump. That noise you hear in the background is, of course, people doing their lawns, airplanes flying over today. We have a lot of military activity going on today. So, on top of all that, Megyn Kelly relished in the aftermath, ecstatically waving goodbye to the absolute worst person on television. Megyn Kelly went on to say, I'm so torn. I'm thrilled she's gone. She's literally was the most racist person on television, Kelly said on Monday's episode of her self-titled show, pointing to the montage of Reid's discussing topics like white vigilantism and white tears as examples of her racism. So, I said it before, Joy Reid was one of the most racist people on television. She got away with it because of... Come on. You know why she got away with it. All right? We all know why. And it was just time, I was shocked she lasted this long. And she was enabled by the network, Rashida Jones, and now Rebecca. I forget who took over there, but Rebecca something or another. Give me a second. I'm going to find that note. And let me just see here. Item number 6. And Rebecca Cutler. I'm sorry. I apologize. Rebecca Cutler has taken over as president of MSNBC. So she's making some big changes. Then Don Lemon jumped on board and tells Megyn Kelly to go fuck yourself for dissing Joy Reid as the worst person on television. Calls Kelly out for attacking other women. Well, I guess you could call her out for attacking, and she didn't attack. No one attacked. No one put their hands on her. How about pointing out that she's the most racist woman in television? All right? Then, on top of all that, during the weekend show on MSNBC's Simon Sanders Townsend asked whether President Donald Trump fired Air Force General Charles C.Q. Brown Jr. because he was black, despite the fact that Trump originally nominating Brown for a different position in 2020. So all of a sudden, Donald Trump found out that he was black, I guess, 5 years later. Ridiculous. He let him go because he couldn't trust him, because this was a DIE leaning general. And he's not having anyone there that he cannot trust as leaking and talking and doing stuff behind the president's back. And presidents do that all the time. Townsend took issue with Brown's firing, insisting that his race needed to be considered as a factor. So now, if you are going to let a black person go, you either have to let a white person go too, or keep the black person, or prove that it isn't race related. How's that, huh? Yeah. Think about it, people. Mostly you, Bob, in New York. Think about it. Just absolute ridiculous, and to the point of, you won't be able to do anything because you're a racist, right? We're all racists. Everyone's a racist if you let a black person go. Not that her telling us that, Joy Reid telling us that Thanksgiving we should get what we deserve for the white people voting in Trump. Right? That's okay to say. And so many other things that Joy Reid has said. That Joy Reid has said. It just is so appalling to me. Anyone else would have been called out on the carpet. They'd be gone. They'd be gone. And of course, the rating disasters over at MSNBC is just, horrendous. CNN, they're still dropping, but not as fast and as hard as MSNBC. They're taking a beating. I'd say their viewership is down over 45% in the last 3-4 months. Fox is still up there, gaining viewers. Wonder why, right? It's annoying. All right. My third points of interest today is Associated Press. Remember, Associated Press filed a suit against the Donald Trump White House for refusing them access to the White House press room, Mar-a-Lago, and Air Force One. And they're saying that it's because, and they're not saying, they're using fact, that it's because the AP refuses to say Gulf of America and acknowledge those words. And Donald Trump has said, well, until you acknowledge those words, you're not coming in the White House, you're not coming in Mar-a-Lago, and you're not coming on Air Force One when I travel. Now, so you know that Air Force One, when you travel, they do take a select group of news people And it's usually a rotated basis, but that's pretty much an honor to get called and to sit on Air Force One and fly with the president. And Associated Press has done it many times, and he goes, "You're not doing it now. You could ask me any any question you want as I'm going up to the airplane. You could ask me any interview you want, any question you want while I'm walking into the White House on White House property. You're allowed on White House property. You aren't allowed in Mar-a-Lago. That's my home. You're not coming in. The White House is theoretically his place of residency, and he can say who comes in his house. Now, you could turn around, some of you liberals, Bob, and say, well, the White House is our property. It's United States people. The people own the White House. Well, great. Wonderful. He can't keep those people out. He can't keep the AP out. Well, then why were the January 6th protesters arrested for trespassing? Capitol's our property, right? It's all our property. Now, think about that for a second. So, the AP is saying that it's a freedom of speech. No one is stopping the AP from saying Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of anything. They can go out every day and call it Gulf of Mexico. No one is stopping them. No one is stopping them from printing it. So there's no infringement of speech or no infringement of publication. Donald Trump just said, they're not coming in the White House. They're not coming on Air Force One, and they're not going to Mar-a-Lago in the press pool. All the other press are there, so there's no freedom of speech being stopped because there's still press there doing it. And the president could stop any press. He could close down the press pools. You know, he does not have to have a press conference. Honestly, he doesn't. Look at Biden. You know, how many press conferences did he hold? Very few. So, what happened? It went to court, and the judge declines to restore AP's access to the White House. And his reasoning was that they haven't proved enough that this is a freedom of speech issue. So what he did is the judge said that come back March 20th and, you know, get your facts a little in order, get everything in order, and we'll fast track this. We're going to expedite it. And what the AP is literally saying is that they're being punished, that their freedom of speech without government retaliation. There is no retaliation. There is nothing in the Constitution that says you have to have the press anywhere. So there is no constitutional issue here. And the Justice Department lawyer, Brian Huddick, said the case in question of whether the president gets to decide who gets into special access with him is the president's decision. The AP, he said, has historically received extra special access given its unchanging pool assignment for one photographer and one print reporter. So they've always had that. It's nothing, you know, they've never been held out before. And he said there are 13 White House pool slots. Most of them rotate. So the free speech isn't being stopped. It's not being altered. Only the access. And the president has the right to limit the access to him. Yeah, and it's not a constitutional issue. Hudek argued that the press has no constitutional right to news gathering, just to publication. He also contended if the White House decided to abolish the press pool, instead granting access to individual reports for any given event, it could do so. And they have done that. I know that for a fact. Just one reporter had access to the president. They take a pool feed and everyone gets it. They usually know way in advance, and most of the time that the person who is doing the interviewing will take questions from their associates and other pool people, and if it deemed that he can ask them that question, they'll ask that question for them. Tough luck, AP. You're not going to win this one. I guarantee you, you don't win that argument. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. All right. And I said I'm going to keep this one down to like 35 minutes, and we're almost at that point now. The other item I have, item 4, was Democrats lose it over Dan Bongino. And this story with the judge, with the AP, came from the Hill. This is also a Hill story, and I did this before. Rachel Maddow, that came from Yahoo News, and the Christy, the leakers identified by Christy Noem. That story was reported by the Tampa Free Press and then shown on MSNBC. And like I said, I hit all of those news outlets for stories. And then I go through them, I check for information, and then report on what they're saying. So, Democrats blast Trump for putting Bongino at the FBI. So, the Hill reported President Trump's selection of Dan Bongino as deputy FBI director adds another conservative firebrand to the top of the agency, fueling concerns from Democrats that the Bureau will be politicized. Yeah. That Bureau always was weaponized. I've said that before. The FBI, keeper of the secrets, has always been weaponized. So, as I said, also that Bongino was a former New York City police officer, and he turned, as they say, a right-wing pundit. And Bongino had bragged of owning the libs and suggested Trump should defy court order and had called the agency he will soon help lead irredeemably corrupt. And that is a true statement. Everything that was reported by the Hill is absolutely correct. These statements were made by Bongino, and the information that he was a police officer at one time, then a Secret Service agent, then a Secret Service trainer, all absolutely true. The fact that he is now the second in charge of the FBI shows to what extent the FBI is trying to rebrand itself and get back the trust of the American people. Now, again, as I said before, the FBI, you don't want to be in the FBI's scope of vision. You don't want to show up on their radar. It's never a good day. But a lot of things the FBI has been accused of doing goes against the ethics of the FBI and laws. So they're going to go in there. They're going to look. And Kash Patel and now Bongino, they can investigate, they can observe, and they can act. So they'll make recommendations to the Department of Justice, if necessary, if they find things, and act on those agents. And if they see that there is a group or conspiracy or anything that goes that takes the ethics and duties of the FBI, they're going to fix that problem right away. And of course, the deputy director does not need Senate approval. You can just appoint someone. Of course, as Senator Schiff had put it, wrote on X, selecting another right-wing Fox personality and internet troll, Dan Bongino, as Deputy FBI Director means two things. Trump installs yet another loyalist who won't say no to any important, immoral, or unethical. I'm sorry, I'm going to reread that because I'm quoted. Trump installs another loyalist who won't say no to any immoral or unethical act. And our law enforcement agencies and the public safety are further degraded. Now, he should have said in there, not two things, three things. And that he knows he's going to be exposed. Schiff is going to be exposed. And he knows it. And he's now setting this stuff up to say, I told you immoral and unethical acts. Well, immoral and unethical does not stand in the way of illegal. So, Adam Schiff, be prepared to have your life turned upside down. Because like I said, the last thing you want to do is be on the FBI's radar. And you, sir, are this big blip. Waters, Pelosi, Green, Nadler. There's a bunch of them out there that should be very afraid of what's coming down the road for them. And this won't be immoral or unethical. This will all be legal. Legal. Remember that. So, Dick Durbin called Bongino a conspiracy theorist with zero FBI experience. Yeah, all right. All right. Look, doesn't make you a bad leader. None of that goes into play. And some of the things that Dan Bongino has mentioned have turned out to be the truth. So, Senator Chris Murphy, the Democrat from Connecticut, how surprising, called Bongino and Patel grifters. Grifters. It's amazing. The lack of moral backbone, and not just to say, all right, these were the people that were picked. These were the people that were confirmed by the Senate, even though it went down party lines. We wish them well, and we will work with them to make America secure and safe. And a place that people still want to come to. Instead of doing that and saying, hey, we have our political differences, we will work with the FBI, and we will also make sure that the FBI sticks to its purpose. And, we wish everyone well. But they didn't. They didn't. They keep going to the damn same playbook they've been going to. Insults, cursing. We had Senator who called people dicks and just doing horrible, unprofessional, unethical, immoral acts against Elon Musk. You keep going to the same playbook. You had a senator from Chris, where was he from? I think Ohio, who told Musk in his letters to go fuck himself. Yeah. And there was another senator from Minnesota, a congressperson from Minnesota, that called him a dick. So we just see all these things, and again, when the left, and they are the left, when they can't make a point, when they can't have a fact to hinge on, they go into the insult mode, they scream louder, they curse, and they think that does something. Well, how did it go for you for the election doing all that stuff? How did that go for you? You have the Congresses red. You have a White House that's red. And you are out. Out. And you think by doing all this, come the midterms, this is going to put you back in power? Ain't happening. Ain't happening. You're gonna have Trump so in power, and that was Senator Sean Casten, a Democratic representative from Illinois, and Senator Tina Smith, Democrat, Minnesota, who called Musk a dick, and Sean Casten, representative, telling Musk to go fuck himself. So, this is your Democrats. Trump has been in office now a little over 5 weeks. And the only thing you have left in your tool bag is trying to go after him in the courts. And it might slow him down a bit because he has to answer it. They got to be answered. But you are now going to have the courts do exactly what you feared was going to happen the last time. They gave Trump and said, yeah, no, the president, has ultimate powers. This is what he can do. He can immunity. He has the full power. And all you do is empower the president. And you make him stronger and stronger and stronger. And now, granted, a Democratic president will have all those same powers. And but now they've been put into words. It went from words into application. And you ain't liking it. You are not liking, and you're not going to like what's coming down the road for you guys. It's not a threat. It's an observation. You're not going to like it. And America is getting tired of the Democrats calling us stupid, ignorant, uneducated, lazy, trailer living people. You know, it's the insults. All that does is take people to go, no, I'm not any of those people. And for you to lump me into that, or even say that, just shows how out of touch you people are, and you got to go. And even the young voters saw that you were totally out of touch. You guys are screwed. The Schumers, the Schiffs, even the Grassleys, all these, McConnell, they're all gone, over the hill, gone. They're not going to last too much longer. And because you keep going to the same playbook, you guys, change your playbook. All right, with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I got to edit this up real quick and get it out the door. It'll be up this evening sometime. Pray for people. Prayer works. When you can give to a charity, please give to a charity. And give what you can. Give to a registered charity. Those charities will not come to you. You must go to those charities. Don't be a victim helping a victim. My cat was with me today. She wanted to sit here. 22 years old. 22 years old. Ragsy. All right, and with that, I'm going to fade to black.